Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel. And this is a video about the Libra new moon taking place on October 21st at 8:25 a.m. If you happen to have been on the eastern seaboard of the United States, definitely check a time zone converter for your local time. This energy will be active at peak during the day of publication of this video and waning until up to a week later when we start to get the waxing of the full moon to come in Scorpio. Here is our new moon in Libra at the 28th degree. She's bringing a lot of heavy hitting energy with a square to Pluto and Jupiter, as well as Pallas there, who is conjunct Pluto as well. We also see an opposition to Chiron and Eris in Aries. You all have heard me talk about this combo, slinging victimhood left and right around relationships, and now it has finally come home to roost in opposition to the Libra new moon. We're going to talk about that in a moment. We also have a loose trine to Chariklo here, also in Aquarius. If you missed it, Cards and Stars availability to get on the wait list for future programs that I can offer with ASO Tarot will be over on my website for just the end of this week. So if you wanted to learn more about programs that ASO and I intend to do together in the future, definitely get on the wait list. You can just click either the link below this video to join my private list or head on over to my website, kmoonastro.com, and you'll see Cards and Stars linked there. Additionally, at the end of this month, which is literally next week, I'm so excited, we get to have the launch of Star Club, where we get to talk about astrology, current events, pop culture, and socio-political, geopolitical happenings and goings on from an astrological perspective. So if that's something that you find fun and interesting, the opportunity to join that community will become available next week. Look for it. I cannot wait. So let's get into our new moon in Libra. Oh, and if you've been wanting to get a reading with me, that opportunity will be available to Star Club members, but not public facing for a little while. And there will be a steep discount and savings for those of you who are members of Star Club. So if you'd like to get a reading with me, the best thing to do is be on the lookout for your invite to join Star Club. That will be your opportunity to do that. All right, let's get into it. New moon in Libra. I think one of the two, well, they're all really potent energies, but Pluto is making this a real crossroads with deep emotions. Some of them are going to be amazing, some of them are going to be a little less amazing. The less amazing ones are going to be a function of this Chiron Eris combo in opposition to this new moon in Libra, but the really amazing ones will be a function of Jupiter square this new moon. Pluto is going to intensify all of it. So if you have felt high highs, low lows as we've come into this Libra new moon, this would be why. The Jupiter square Libra new moon combination is bringing out an enhancement of all emotional truths and realities, especially those related to partnership, relationship, business partnership, collaboration, romantic partnership, project partnership. All of these are on highlight, bold, underline, italics during this new moon. In particular, if you have a relationship having to do with family, children, or a mother in particular, we see a carryover theme. Mothers were definitely highlighted at the full moon in Aries 2 weeks ago. There is further highlights of mother themes with Jupiter in Cancer square this new moon. What this is bringing to the table is, first of all, just in neutrality. Jupiter square the new moon is bringing an abundance of elation, emotions, confidence, just this sense of I can do itness, potential, and possibility, even a sense of overconfidence when it comes to who we are and where we are in partnership and relationship. This can be an energy that masks or ignores red flags. This can also be an energy that has no brakes, has no really ability on its own to stop. And so with this, we can get a lot of indulgence, exuberance, social interactions that really exceed normal limits. So staying out late, partying with friends, this sort of thing can certainly show itself here. Staying at the dinner party, having that extra drink, that extra slice of pie, more than you may have anticipated. This is the energy that can bring that forward, that energy of excess, that energy of more. But when it comes to the emotional parts of this Libra new moon, because Jupiter is in Cancer, our emotions forward water sign, this for some may really have your emotions all over the show. And you really may have felt this as early as October 14th as this energy began to wax. And certainly as we came into the tail end of last week as well, the intensity around this energy may have really shown itself. Part of why this is so intense, as I mentioned, is this opposition from Chiron and Eris. Chiron is our energy of feeling different, somehow rejected, not exactly included because of our differences. Chiron is an energy that is different from all the other centaurs, all the other humans, and all the other gods and goddesses on Mount Olympus. He stood alone in the ways in which he was unique. But the Chironic journey is one that happened in triplicate. First, we see rejection and abandonment from both parents. Zeus, his father, wanted nothing to do with him, and his mother either. Neither. Then we see adoption by two parents who sought to educate Chiron. And then the journey of learning and deepening awareness and understanding. We see the journey of becoming a teacher. From there, we move into the journey of helping other people, being a guide, a leader, a way shower for others on Mount Olympus. With Chiron in opposition to this new moon, we see the Chironic journey, the peaks of that journey really highlighted here in regard to our relationships and who we are. That's the Aries part inside of those relationships. Now, unfortunately, and I've mentioned this at a number of lunations prior to now, Chiron is conjunct Eris, Eris. This is our asteroid that is indicative of strife, disharmony, discord. But we really only see Eris do her worst when Eris shows herself as being disenfranchised, excluded from life's table, written out of the invitation list. This is really when we see Eris show up and cause chaos for the other gods and goddesses on Mount Olympus. And with Chiron speaking to Eris, Eris speaking to Chiron, the two of them have a tendency to highlight each other's commonalities. The commonality being exclusion, the commonality being feeling left out, the commonality being rejection. With the two of these highlighted in opposition to this new moon in Libra, which is in our sign of partnership, fairness, justice, equality, balance, can really showcase where in our partnerships, certainly in family as well, because Jupiter is speaking to both of these, groups as well, because Pluto down here in Aquarius is in the friendship sector, the colleague sector, in all of these areas of life. Chiron and Eris are stirring the pot to evoke feelings of neglect, rejection, abandonment, and get us to the point of realization. Where have we self-abandoned that life is reflecting that rejection back to us? Where have we self-neglected in a way that has the outside mirror the inside? Where have we written ourselves out of the guest list in such a way that life has said, oh, okay, you don't want an invitation to parties? Got it. Won't invite you anymore. As above, so below. The universal principle applies here. And so the wake-up calls we're receiving at this new moon facilitate deep personal awareness about where we are in our relationships, why we're in the place we're in our relationship, and where we can take a stand for ourselves. Now, this is the other lesser known commonality between Chiron and Eris. Chiron's work in taking a stand has to do with healership, way showing, teaching, and guiding for others. Eris's work in taking a stand is causing such a fuss that Eris will not be ignored. And so, where you have been living on less, table scraps, crumbs, just enough, where you have been experiencing being the giver so that others can receive, where there has been shadow in partnership, and that's Libra here, partnership again highlighted. Libra's our sign of balance, but where things have been imbalanced, the root and the remedy begins and ends with us. And it's up to us to really put ourselves forward for said promotion, put ourselves forward for said consideration, put ourselves forward for the invitation we wish to receive. So, great example of this. I've got a friend, a really close friend who's in the entertainment industry and works, behind the scenes, is not, on camera, but works behind the scenes. And last week, she had wrapped up a show that has, where everyone was listed in the credits for the work that they had done, both on social media and in print. And her name was left off. And I had historically seen her like fume about this, and let the moment pass, but it would really stir or seed bitterness and pain and heartbreak in her spirit. This time, she actually immediately wrote to the team that put together the credits and said, hey, in our business, as you know, credits are everything, and I saw my name had been omitted. Would you please be willing to, or please, please add my name to the credits so that, I can really have this work listed in my repertoire of things that I've worked on. And they immediately got back to her and said, we apologize for the oversight. 100%, we will have this remedied by the end of day tomorrow. So in less than 24 hours, they offered to correct this. Solutions can be that simple, that quick, that easy, where rather than stewing or like simmering in a pot of discontent, we have the option to self-advocate and step into exactly our rightful place here on the earth. And so this is a beautiful energy. what there is to overcome in this. And so I really wanted to make sure I highlighted that because as you see, those of you who are students of astrology, this is a bit of a grand cross. So it's creating an extraordinary amount of personal inner tension and turmoil, as well as interpersonal turmoil. What there is to overcome in this is Jupiter's communication with Chiron and Eris, which just throws gasoline on the fire of woe is me. And Pluto squaring this Eris, which intensifies the internal power struggle before it becomes an external point of mastery, as it was for my friend in that situation. The internal power struggle here is grief, with Pluto speaking to Chiron in this way. And this energy can be with us into next year, with that, if remedy is not taken in circumstances and situations that require it. I want to be very clear, especially because this is a post-eclipse activation point. This Libra new moon, this is the first activation point following our Virgo new moon solar eclipse. That eclipse in Virgo, thank God, it did not speak to Chiron and Eris. However, in Aries, however, what we see here with Pluto in communication to Chiron, because this is a post-eclipse activation point, it does carry a bit more of a punch than a normal new moon would. And so decisions that we make in this moment in time can certainly carry a deeper weight, especially because we see Pluto speaking to the new moon. This can heighten emotional in realities. The situation I was talking about with my friend, this wasn't like a one-time sort of event or an experience. This was a cumulative piece of progress and personal growth related to how she was going to use her personal power with regard to being overlooked, or with regard to oversight in her participation in her projects. So all of that to say, there is a level of cumulative or culminating energy showing itself at this new moon, where we get the opportunity to turn over a new leaf. We get the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm not going to sit in bad feelings when it takes a single conversation to fix it. I'm not going to avoid utilizing my power, and that's the Plutonian piece. I'm not going to avoid utilizing my power to facilitate change in my relationships, since Pluto is speaking to the new moon in Libra anyway. An ending and then a rebirth are 100% what's necessary in many relationships now going forward as a result of this new moon. So this ending and rebirth can, like I said, certainly show itself in the arena of family and family dynamics, in particular with a mother or female authority figure. We also see partnerships, business and romance, where the occupation of the new moon is. Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. That's the families and mothers piece. Pluto is in occupation in Aquarius. This is bringing forward the friendship and the colleagues, networking partners, peace, unions, this sort of energy. And then Aries, of course, is our sign that deals with our selfhood and individuality. And starting with ourselves first is where change truly takes hold. So I love to see this. There's a final energy here that I want to speak to, and it is actually, I don't want to speak to that. It's a little too far away, and it's also retrograde. It would be Cheroklo here, but she's over 10 degrees away, so I want to leave her out. Some of you may really feel the blessing energy that she brings to the table and the intercessional energy, and have a deeper connection to your guides and guidance team. For those of you who are quite sensitive, But most of us are going to find this a time of deepening our personal relationship with our own true emotions about how our relationships are showing up. One of the gifts in this energy is that you will find mirrors. Whatever is showing up in romantic partnership or business partnership is likely also showing up in friendship and colleague relationships, as well as family relationships. This new moon gives us the opportunity to find the common root and resolve it at this time. So, in that regard, I really, really like to see this new moon's energy. Again, that new moon in Pisces, that was roughly 28 days ago. Sorry, new moon in Virgo on around September 19th, I believe it was. This is going to help us integrate the wisdom and the lessons from that new moon in Virgo solar eclipse. If you're curious what that was about, because you're still reeling from some of the changes and integrating some of their lessons, I strongly encourage you to have a listen to the new moon in Virgo light worker lunar update, and you'll find that in the playlist for light workers on this channel. I'll also link it at the end of this video. Signs who are going to feel this new moon in Libra most. We see the new moon in Libra here at late degrees Libra, early degrees Scorpio. That means that we're going to be feeling this. If you have sun, moon, or rising at those degrees or stelliums, you'll be feeling this the most, as well as those with sun, moon, rising, or stelliums in late degrees Aries, early degrees Taurus, late degrees Capricorn, early degrees Aquarius, late degrees Cancer, early degrees Leo. If you have sun, moon, or rising or stelliums in those degrees, you will find that this new moon may present as maybe a little intense, and in a good way. Like I said, there's divine purpose in this for all of us, but definitely take your time, feel it through, work with the energies and what they're trying to reveal to you. I promise you, the universe is not trying to take a giant dump on you, if I may. Instead, what's happening here is some wake-up calls for those of you who are feeling this intensely, and letting you know you can take up more space here on the planet. Your light is needed more now. You can have more than what you've been letting yourself live on. But in order to access it, it is time for you to step up. That's what I have for our new moon in Libra. I'm really excited to hear your experiences with it, especially in the wake of the eclipse that we've just come through. The new moon in Virgo solar eclipse, since this is a post-eclipse activation point. If you're finding that new things or existing things are still landing and integrating from that eclipse, I'd love to hear it in the comment section. Let us know. And if you heard something that resonates, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with somebody who may need to hear the messages. And I look forward to catching you at the next full moon. Take great care, and bye for now.